In the short term, we've proposed the following 5 steps. Firstly, we've urged the President to declare a ring-fenced state of disaster in the electricity sector. Not a state of emergency, which is inappropriate, but a state of disaster. This is important because it will allow government to suspend all that red tape and legislation currently blocking the solutions to this crisis. Secondly, to issue a blanket Section 34 determination so that all municipalities in good financial standing can procure, generate, and store their own electricity. This will ensure we can keep the lights on in your cities and towns. Thirdly, to incentivize and ease the regulations on small-scale embedded generation, such as rooftop solar. This is not the time to be making it more expensive to feed solutions into the grid. Fourthly, to waive all the local content requirements for electricity procurement. The only priority now for South Africans must be on restoring our supply, keeping the lights on, and keeping our businesses and factories working. Fifthly, we need to waive all preferential procurement requirements. Only the quickest and cheapest and most agile solutions must do. We cannot afford an extra layer of price gouging and the cost that BEE adds. Adding to this, in the medium term, we've proposed the following 11 interventions, which must also start being implemented right away. For measures outside of Eskom, firstly, to form an emergency electricity commission headed up by a power utility specialist, not a politician, to deal with the crisis. Secondly, to update the integrated resource plan. In its current 2019 guise, it's based on entirely incorrect assumptions on additional energy sources and available Eskom capacity. Thirdly, to establish an independent system market operator so that the transmission grid can be run separately from Eskom. Fourthly, to aggressively pursue new generation capacity from diverse sources and technologies. This could unleash a whole greenfield industry of jobs in South Africa if we could only break Eskom's monopoly. Fifthly, to establish proper governance structures to oversee the foreign funding for our transition away from fossil fuels. Sixth, to invest in grid infrastructure and system upgrades. This is important as new generation. You cannot feed new electricity into the grid if the current system is not able to manage and carry it. Seventh, to build more storage capacity by investing in the technology of batteries and other forms of storage. For instance, pump storage. This will help to take a lot of the pressure off Eskom. Turning now to measures inside Eskom. Eighth suggestion that we made was to deal with sabotage through integrated security and intelligence measures by vigorously prosecuting the treasonous saboteurs. Those involved in the sabotage of our electricity infrastructure in South Africa are putting the lives and the livelihoods of millions of South Africans at risk. A far harder line needs to be taken against them. The ninth intervention that we suggested would be to employ engineers and cut the dead wood at Eskom. The money saved by letting deployed cadres go will pay for the skills needed to fix the utility. For far too long, Eskom was used as a dumping ground for loyal cadres, to the point now where it is staffed completely incorrectly, and the balance between engineers and other staff is not balanced. 10th, we need to ramp up maintenance on Eskom's generation fleet. Fixing just half of the current 17,000 megawatts of broken generation capacity will end load shedding. And finally, the 11th intervention that we suggested today was to review all Eskom coal contracts to eradicate corruption and to ensure best price value for money contracts.